The first day of spring, and that's the time that you get out in your yard and you start to plant and do all your gardening. I'd like to welcome back to the show Bill Edgerton with Trads of Jacksonville. And basically, what we're asking you to do today is help us out to get started with our yard work. So welcome back to River City Live.
Well, thank you very much. It's great to be here, and it's a great time of year to be outside here in Florida. The weather's warming up. Everything's coming to life. Your flowers are starting to pop. And as far as getting ready for spring, this is when you want to start getting your plants together so that you can put them in the ground and get them started. Have a good gardening season this year.
So what should be our plan of attack? Because it seems a little bit overwhelming because there's a lot of different light that hits the plants. There's different temperatures we're dealing with now in the spring.
It can be.
What should be our plan to start out?
Well, the word plan is the key word. Before you come into or go into a garden center, walk around your property, take a look at the conditions that you've got, see where you want to put your plants, and see whether you're wanting to put them in full sun areas or shady areas. That's going to be a big factor when it comes to putting the right plant in the right place, and that's one of the key factors in having the plants succeed once you do put them in the ground.
And then let's talk about, you're talking about ground, so let's talk about mulch. I know with my house, for example, a lot of it just kind of washed away or went away, so I feel like I have to build up that foundation. There's different types to begin with,
There are different types. You've got cypress mulch, you've got pine bark mulch. A lot of people will use pine straw for their mulch. And the purpose for mulch is to help the soil retain moisture so that the ground doesn't have to be irrigated so much. What we see a lot is we see a lot of areas where the mulch is over-applied or applied incorrectly. And the biggest mistake people make is that they'll pile it up against the base of the plant.
Right.
And what you really want to have is you want to have about 6 inches of free space clear from the edge of the mulch to the trunk of the plant. That way that soil can breathe and you're going to get a better exchange of the microbes and chemicals that are in the soil naturally.
See, that makes a lot of sense, and that's a mistake I see that I make and everybody in my neighborhood makes too, because it looks pretty. When you first get mulch, the color's there, it looks nice, and people really pile it up. But what you're saying, it's not necessarily a good thing because it's not getting the nutrients it needs to survive.
Exactly. It's like everything else. Too much of a good thing can be a bad thing.
Right.
And the biggest thing that most people will do is they'll put new mulch on top of the old mulch, when what they really should do is remove the old mulch and then come in with the new mulch so that you don't get 4 inches built up, which is a really ripe environment for something called mushroom root rot or just root rots in general, which will kill plants.
That's a really good tip, and I did not know that. So thank you for that. And what about when it comes to plants? What are some things that we should be looking for and considering for our houses?
Well, look for the size of the plant. Find out, number one, when you look at it, talk to somebody at our garden center, find out what works really well in the conditions that you've got. There are some sections of yards where it's extremely wet and there's almost no direct sunlight. In those cases, you want to go with something that's extremely shade tolerant, like an azalea. There are other parts of the lawn that are going to be really, really sunny, and something like the bougainvillea that we have over here behind me is just going to do really well. It's going to thrive. I mean, the bougainvilleas over here are just fantastic right now. They're covered with flowers.
I know a lot of people right now, they're excited to get active in their yards because the temperature is great, right? But what are some of the biggest mistakes that you see time and time again when it comes to gardening? Okay,
the biggest mistakes that I see are not preparing properly. One is, this is a good time of year to have your irrigation system checked out. You want to have your irrigation system checked out before your lawn and your garden is going to be depending on it. Because what happens is if you wait until your garden is depending on the irrigation working, then it's not getting the irrigation. You're busy repairing it, so all those plants are going to be under drought stress conditions. The other thing is tune up your lawnmower.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Make sure the blades are sharp,
Make sure the blades are sharp. Make sure that everything's in good working order. Start it. Make sure it will start. There's nothing more frustrating than going out there to cut your yard for the first time in the spring and you can't get your mower to start.
I've been there.
Yeah.
And then you pull up the air filter and it's brown.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've
so
been there.
check out your equipment. Make sure that it's in good working order, and it'll just make for a more pleasant spring for you.
Well, Bill, thanks again for all the tips. If you have any questions and you're looking to shop around, come to Trads of Jacksonville. You'll have somebody like Bill, a service representative, to come out and really help you to get on the right path to make sure that everything looks great in your yard. For more information, you can go to tradsofjacksonville.com, or you can give them a call at 904-733-7488. Thanks again for your time. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.